accidents. It's a big weekend. And I wanted to go into this one today because we're going to go deep. We're going to talk about gurus. We're going to talk about the power of agreement. But how are you guys doing? It's a beautiful day here in Ohio. Gorgeous, gorgeous outside. But how's it going for you? You know, say hi in the comments below. Tell me how you're doing. Tell me where you are. And, just check in. Again, today we're going to be talking about some deep, deep things. Now, this is part 5 of Brainwash, but you don't have to watch these in order, listen to them in order. You know, there is such gold in each and every one of these episodes. So if you come in late to the party, that's fine. Stick here around, listen to the episode, then you can always go back. The links to the other 4 will be in the comments below. So if you missed out, then go take a look right now. All right. Now, you're going to begin to see in your life that agreements are very important. In fact, I would argue that life is pretty much just one big agreement. You know, if other people don't agree with you, you are in deep crap. Think about it. How would you react if suddenly all your friends didn't listen to anything that you said? Oh, they do that now? Well, but what if literally nothing you said? What would your reaction be if you kept, you're in a taxi and you're yelling to the driver, watch out, a red light, but he ignored you and went sailing right through, right? And the others in the car agreed with him that the light was green. How far would you get in your work if nobody agreed that what you were doing had value? How many times would you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again? Get the idea that nothing in the world exists unless there is an agreement between or among people that it does exist. And everyone's a guru nowadays. Everyone has a YouTube channel. Everyone who has never left their hometown is sitting there telling you all these things that you need to do. They're not telling you from experience. They're telling you from what they heard other people say or what they read somewhere. It's not tested. And it's so much harder now, because everyone believes they're equal. The guy in his basement in Idaho believes he's the same as the guy with, 30 years experience who's done, these things all over the world. Scientists and different people, they have these, the understanding of the subject, and then somebody behind their computer believes that they're equal. It's just a very scary problem to have, because nothing in the world exists without agreement. But the gurus, they're nothing more than people who make declarations. And what does that require? Well, if you've been with me for the other episodes here, we talk about shuffling the pictures of the past and the videotapes of our mind, right? Well, that's all a good guru does. They just shuffle your pictures around, get you to remember things and to feel certain ways about things. And they get people to agree with them. So let's deal with some basics right off the bat, all right? First is the agreement. I mean, who says that Jimmy Kimmel should get $30 million a year for telling us bedtime stories, right? Who says that, Tom Ford is worth $250 million to sell his clothes? That sort of thing goes on and on and on. Well, who puts that value in the game? Guess what? You do. We do. You're responsible for that. Or those things and those people would not be here. Period. Value is nothing but agreement. Who says that gold, as opposed to, say, tin or something, gets credited with value in the world? You do. You do. You know what? I remember this episode of The Twilight Zone once. Now, I'm too young to have seen it originally, but I was obsessed with it as a kid in reruns. And there was an episode where there were 2 people in the future that hoarded all this gold, and they were going to put themselves in some kind of sleep chamber for 100 years. So when they woke up, the gold would be, worth a fortune. And they wake up 100 years later, with this gold, and it turns out gold is worth nothing. It's completely useless. They're trying to use gold to barter, and the people are like, it's absolutely useless because it's just agreement. It's agreement. A pile of gold bricks on a desert island is worth literally nothing to the person who's stuck there. Agreement. All right. Now you can choose to cast your vote vicariously through someone called a critic. That's where you let someone else make the choice for you. Remember Siskel and Ebert, thumbs up, thumbs down? I don't think I'm going to see that movie because Gene Siskel said it was a piece of crap. Well, that's what a critic really is. But at the base of it all, you're still buying that critic's vote on the issue, or the critic wouldn't be the critic. And that's all that value is. Get this in your mind. Value is just a mental concept. It's a construct. It's something we have created inside. How much value does $1 million US have if you're in some place where the people don't accept the money and you can't get out of there and you can't say it literally is just paper then. Sorry, we do not take American money. We take only fish eyeballs or some crap, right? Well, man, now the guy with all the fish eyeballs is the good one, right? So waving all that paper around, throwing it in the air doesn't make any sense, right? You still lose. Look, not too long ago, I went to, this was before lockdown, but in Palm Springs, I went to the art museum because I love doing that. The Guggenheim in New York, just spending some time, And so the reason I say the word art is it requires agreement. Art is subjective. Somebody looking at, an Andy Warhol painting who, of a soup can or something, it's subjective. Art is subjective. No museum can exist for very long if people don't agree that what they have inside is art. And that's the point here. When I was there, I saw a hopper. You know what that is, right? It was cut in half and somehow it was stuck to a painted piece of plywood. Okay. It was $122,000 to buy this piece. Now, if some other person agrees that it's worth that money, well, then guess what? The game was won by the hopper cutter. And he won it only because he got someone to agree that what he created was art. Now, get the idea that no matter what game it is that you create, to the degree that it involves other people, you must get agreement if you expect to win. And you already know one of the key elements of getting that agreement: just give up being right about it. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, there's a link down below because it's in one of the last videos. You can go out and win the games you set up. You can get all the cheese in life. You can give people recognition for serving your purpose, and you just keep going higher and higher. Now, we're beginning to shed some light on what a guru does. Simple. They do nothing but hand out the problems and get people to agree to solve them. So elementary, it borders on the absurd, the crazy. A guru is the guy or gal who does a picture reshuffling, gets people to agree that the game he set up is worth playing, and then they begin to play his game. He's the source, however, and this is extremely important because the source gets to do one more thing that's very important here. Do you know what that is? He gets to make the rules. Take a hard, cold look at that statement. Look at the gurus of the online world and see what's going on. If you go back and think about a guru from long ago, maybe Alexander Graham Bell, picture reshuffle. We'll all get to talk to one another. So why don't we use this thing? I call it a telephone. The first, and I guess really only necessary step, was for people to agree that this phone game was worth playing. After that, they set up this elaborate system. They called it a phone network. And people agreed to play it to the hilt, laying cables all over the world. It's so complex now. There's 2 million people out there solving the problems that Bell created. And now, mobile phones, iPads, laptops, connected anywhere in the world, living our life through the computer screen, the screen in our hands. Think about the guru who brought us, remember the Polaroid? The Polaroid camera, excuse me. And it's now, when I was a kid, it was like magic. You have this big boxy camera, you take a picture, it comes out automatically and slowly develops in front of your very eyes. And today it's obsolete. It's obsolete, right? But think about Polaroid back in the day. Think about what they were saying. Remember, they were just reshuffling your pictures around. Wouldn't you love to skip the time it takes to process the film? You could see it right when you shoot it. Again, the first step was to get agreement. Yes, that would be awesome. They asked him how they could play the game. And now, the company's gone. Well, not gone, but Polaroid was a juggernaut, a powerhouse. You think of these huge companies, Blockbuster, owned the world, could have bought Netflix, gone. I mean, gone. It's not like the company is not doing well, had to downsize, gone. I think there's one left in the entire country or world. I'm not sure. You know, at this point, you're probably saying, all right, sure. Those people got to be gurus, but they were idea men. They invented something. I'm not creative. Again, always excuses why someone else could have it and you couldn't. Fine. But I want you to look carefully at a question. Are you certain that all of the inventors in the world were really the inventors, or were they just the guy that came up with the problem? Well, I don't know for sure, but I want you to hang out with the question because it's central to the issue. And before you decide that you couldn't get other people to agree to solve your problems, have you looked carefully at that? Do you have ideas? How do you know that yours aren't as agreeable for solution as the next guy's? Have you ever thought about things that could get agreement in the marketplace of life? Because I am here to tell you flat out that in order for you to become a guru, in order for you to become that in your life, you don't have to have anything but the problem identified. And you must get the agreement of other people that they should help you solve it. You don't have to have the ability to build or assemble or even write the blueprints for anything. Once people agree with you, you're the guru. And then you get to do two things: make the rules and keep handing out the problems. I'm not telling you to go be Tony Robbins. In your case, it's not that kind of guru. But you want to be the guru of your own life, the guru of your own games and situations where you make the rules and you get to hand out the problems. You want some more proof? I'll tell you a specific experience that really makes my point. For about 10, 12 years after college, a friend of mine worked closely with the gurus of some of the largest companies in the United States. Two of them were billion-dollar giants in annual sales. Another, about $750 million. Now, if you looked at it cold and analytically, and you looked at those pictures of the past, I can see that the presidents of those New York Stock Exchange companies didn't really know any more than my friend did. But what I want you to get is that they were the gurus because everyone agreed that they were. It didn't matter what they knew. All they did was to make the rules and hand out the problems. That's all there is to being in charge. What makes you worth whatever compensation you receive each year? It's agreement. It's absolutely agreement, and it's nothing else. If you told your company that you were worth $2 million next year and they agreed, then what are you worth next year? And nothing has to be logical about it. I know a guy in one of the companies I did shows for year after year after year who was on the board of directors, and he convinced the company, $100,000 a year extra for 20 years just to, he made himself. He laid out what he was worth. He convinced them in the agreement, and they agreed. Stop now and take a careful look at your life. Think about what I just said. Look at your life and see where that fits in. Be certain where you are about gurus and what makes them them. The people that you listen to. Why do they deserve to be listened to? Because they have a bigger advertising budget. Why? Do they know what they're talking about? Or are they just really good at getting you to agree and handing out the problems? Here's a couple of additional examples, okay? I listen to people every day who say things oh, my boss doesn't know anything. I know 10 times as much as my boss. And I want to acknowledge that many of them are right. Absolutely. But the boss got them to agree that he's the boss and they're the workers. And it truly doesn't matter what he knows. He is the boss. And at the base of it all, he's at least a semi-guru because he's in charge and he gets to hand out the problems. And the head guru of the business gets to do nothing but hand out problems and set the rules. Moving right along, look at all the family-owned businesses in the world. And at all the workers who sit around and bitch when the old man makes his kid the president and the kid has never set foot in the company. Fine. You go on and bitch about that. If you get something out of complaining, and some people do, but the kid still remains the guru because those people stay and agree that he is. They're still there solving his problems for him. Get that. If they're still there solving his problems, he's still the guru. And if they didn't agree that he was the guru, they'd leave that game and create a new one. Now, I'll be the first to admit that it wouldn't be very reasonable for them to leave, but if they did, the kid would be left as the lonely guru. The truth is that people do have the choice of staying or leaving each and every game that they have going. It's the same with our government. You're responsible for 9/11, Afghanistan, Iraq, and that whole convoluted mess. Everything going on out there. The world's current tragedy is defined by a comedy of errors, playing survival of the fittest and mind games. And in that case, the heads of state and the generals, they're the gurus. Now, I know that you'd like to duck the responsibility for a lot of things by throwing them off. What can I do? But that doesn't let you escape the responsibility. Look at the opposite side of the coin. If you're not ultimately responsible, who the hell is? The truth is that you put the gurus in place by agreeing that they had a game worth playing. And you keep the gurus in place by agreeing to solve their problems, live by their rules. Period. End of discussion. Take a hard look and know that gurus don't have to be any smarter or have any experience or do anything other than get agreement. When I was a kid, they used to say anybody could be president of the United USA, right? It's true. It's all down to agreement. You get enough people to agree with you and it becomes true. You've never consciously acknowledged that before. And you've never acknowledged the tremendous power that you wield with your agreement. Because you do have an unbelievable amount of power. Yes, you, little tiny you. The truth is that you can raise more hell with the system than you ever imagined, if that's what you want to do. Why aren't you a guru? Maybe you are. How do you think new things come about in the big game of life? By magic? By osmosis? No. Do you think 100 people, 1,000 people get the same idea at the same time? The simple truth is that one person stands up, they announce the problem, they get agreement, and bam, a new game is born. And a new guru is on his way. Take a hard look. Think about the word experience. Look at it in relation to business. You see advertisements all the time. Looking for a job, right? Experience required. That word is bullshit. It comes from the have, do, be system. How many people would have gotten to work for say, Polaroid back in the day if he ran ads that said instant photo development experience required when there wasn't any before that? Get the idea that way back when in every business nobody had experience. There is a point in every single business in innovation when there can't be experience because it's new. Somebody had a problem which others could relate to in the pictures of their past, and they agreed to play the game of solving it. That's the way it was way back then. And guess what? We're so technologically advanced, but it's exactly the same way right now. Here is a hard fact. Without agreement, you're nothing. With it, you're a winner. And the ultimate in agreement is guruism, where you get to do nothing but hand out problems for other people to solve. Why not be the solution? Why not help people? Let's take a look at idea gurus. Somebody like Vidal Sassoon. You remember Vidal Sassoon? You don't look good. You don't look good. I don't look good. Or we don't look good. And created a literal dynasty that continues on long after his death of hair products, hairstyling, that sort of thing. Take a picture reshuffle in your mind. See those pictures. Look, your hair ought to look like this. And see a picture of a new style. Boom. You know what the first and the only mandatory step is. After that, all the hairstylists go to work to imitate the look. And the people right up there next to him on Fifth Avenue, they had the opportunity to bitch that he really doesn't know any more than they do. And he still puts his pants on one leg at a time, but he got the agreement. And he was the guru. And I think when he was still cutting hair, it was $5,000, $10,000 for a haircut from Vidal Sassoon, but billions of dollars in products. It was agreement. People agreed that he was worth it, because without it, he was worth about as much as I would be to cut your hair. And trust me, you don't want it. Remember Dr. Spock? Not from Star Trek. I used to confuse that when I was a kid. Mr. Spock? Vulcan, pointy ears. Dr. Spock? Doc Child, the child doctor, the instructor about kids, how to raise kids, right? Take a hard look. What did he tell you really? Did you read those books, or did your parents read them? How to raise kids? What did he really know? Most people could have probably written that book. And now you get to see that the answer doesn't matter. It never does. It's the problem and then the agreement that matters. The truth is that, Doc Spock got you to agree to pay for his ideas, or he'd still be back, with a normal office practice. How do you think we got to the moon? And we did get to the moon, right? I mean, I'm sure there's people out there that people believe in every conspiracy theory out there. But how did we get there? Simple. We agreed it was a problem worth solving. When John F. Kennedy said that in the race to the moon, we took it on as a problem that was worth solving. How do you think wars get started? People agree to play them, play war games. That's how. That's all. Beware of the agreement trap. That is, all the gurus of the world and anyone else you agree with can only get you to agree with what you knew all along. Full stop. Period. Listen to it again, because this is a warning, and I call it the agreement trap. All the gurus of the world can only get you to agree with what you knew all along. Remember those picture shuffling? If they're showing you pictures you can't recognize, you're never going to agree. They have to be able to reshuffle your pictures. Why is that? Before you can agree with anything, you must comprehend it. So to be sure, your pictures can be reshuffled, but you must get the fact that they're in just a different order, but they're still there, right? You still had them on your videotape all along. They're just in a different order. And if you can't haul up pictures from the past, the guy ends up being a ridiculous fool in your eyes and not a guru. Get the idea that the only difference between you and the guru of the game is that he's at source and you're not. You're playing his game, which means that he gets to make the rules and hand out the problems for you to solve. And by your actions, you agree that solving his problems comes before solving your problems and setting up your own games. Don't you see that by listening to this podcast right now, you're playing my game, and that you already know everything I'm saying to you, because you do. You know it inside. It is an internal, universal knowing. And when it awakens it, that is the feeling of truth and of knowing, not just trusting or assuming or thinking, but deep down, core of the soul, knowing. As you progress through these videos and you listen to what I'm saying has to relate to your pictures, has to relate to your struggles, it has to relate to your dreams, it has to relate to you. Otherwise, it just sounds like complete nonsense. And the more enlightened and awakened you are, the more you understand. I have read things 5, 6, 20, 50 times. And on the 51st time, I picked up something I never knew before. When your consciousness is the size of a grapefruit, you only can comprehend from that. You get a grapefruit size knowledge from that. But as you expand your consciousness and it gets bigger and it grows bigger and you understand more and more, you can even be looking at the same things, rereading the same things, and now seeing them completely differently and picking up things that you never saw before. There's no magic about becoming a guru, and there's no luck involved either. The process is simple. It's really amazing. It's eluded people for so long. All you need to do is look and know if you're there. Then the only thing between you and actually getting there is just space and time. And that puts you at source in the game. You simply reorient your life so that instead of waiting for someone to bring you a game and seek your agreement to play, you're out in front. You're setting up your own games. You're communicating the problem to others and getting them to agree to play. You've looked ahead. You know where your river's going, what your purposes are, and then you simply set up your games to get you there. And you will intuitively know when someone or something gets in the way as you're going where you're going, and you know it. Gurus are always on the razor blade of choice. All along the way, you're going to have choices to make. Some will work out, some will backfire and blow up in your face. And you're responsible for how many of them? All of them. So if you're slightly fearful of going out there on that razor blade, let me assure you, I'll tell you the truth. Once you experience the game from the knife edge, you'll never return to being unconscious and backing into others' games. You really get a big grin when you see that the choices are working to get you closer to where you already are. And you also get to be very calm and relaxed about your life. There's no effort involved. After all, you know where you're going. You don't get stress and anxiety when you have your goal in mind and you're moving towards it and you're being successful. Every move you make, no matter how small, is moving in the right direction. All the hassles that people face from getting themselves stuck in someone else's game, you get to avoid. You're setting up your own games, and you can literally have an infinite number of them going all at the same time and end up winning most, if not all of them. Now, you get to know that there are an unbelievable number of people out there just waiting for you to choose where you're going. Stand up and let them see that. And then you can begin to let them in on how to play your game. And then you get to hand them more problems. And guess what? They solve them for you. And you recognize them for that. And they're happy. And that makes you even more elated about the living experience. My friends, that is all there really is to the game called life. It's deep. Next video is part 6. And part 6 is the one that you've been waiting for, because part 6 is the 4 very basic, but until now, pretty underground and secret ingredients to healthy relationships in the game of life. This is going to blow you away. You don't want to miss this one. All right. It's the 4 basic secret ingredients to healthy relationships in the game. That is part 5 of Brainwashed. Right now, I want to talk about something. You deserve to feel good. Do you agree? Hell yes. Matter of fact, you deserve to feel really, really good. It sounds great, but do you believe it? Does your inner voice support that? Or are you constantly hearing that you should be doing more? You should be working harder? Do you always feel like you have to sacrifice yourself for others and put your needs or desires last in order to be helpful or likable? Do you struggle with trusting your decisions and making them with confidence? We live in a world of constant comparisons, and everything can feel like a competition, a race from accomplishment to accomplishment. And I'll tell you, I've seen a lot of lovely advice out there on how to deal in this day and age. Some of it's great, most of it's not. Everyone now is an expert. It's hard to tell the difference. The thing is, you can limit your time on social media. You can use positive affirmations. You can do all the things that you're supposed to do. But this inner bully, this inner bitchy roommate can be a tricky little thing. And sometimes it's less about doing all the things and more about learning how to sit with and tune into what that voice is trying to say to you, and then asking it the right questions. Aha moment. Life changes immediately because your perspective changes. But here's the key. You have to have something to replace it with. My highest intention is to work and to show you what you're doing to yourself and how you're moving towards your goals. Those can be light, enjoyable, humorous, fun, exciting times. The things that you and I will do, they are intended to support your awareness and your awakening to your authentic self so that you can shed some of those limiting beliefs and you can meet your goals. I am serious about helping you. If you are ready to step into the fullest expression of who you are, you're in the right place. Some people need that extra lift, that extra hand up, and that's what mindset coaching is all about. We work together each week. We take actionable steps to uncover your fullest potential. We'll undoubtedly uncover the pieces of yourself that have been hidden, conditioned away, or simply undiscovered yet. We'll break your programming that is controlling and destroying happiness in your lives. You should be living complete, bliss-filled, stress-free lives of total abundance, whatever abundance means to you. And if you're not, you need mindset coaching. We'll work towards the goals you have in mind, whether they're personal, professional, anything. And we'll do that together. I take strengths and evidence-based approach to do all that. If this life is meant to be enjoyed, and my friends, it is, then this self-reflective work that we do, it doesn't involve berating yourself or being better. The work should reflect the end goal. It's going to be fun. It's going to be focused. It's going to be focused on growth and abundance. And it's going to be rooted in excitement and joy. If you'd like some more information about my coaching program, it's one-on-one. We meet virtually, you and I, each and every week. We do a 1-hour streaming call together. And it's something that is changing lives. It will change yours. It changed mine. And I promise you it can change yours too. Take a look at brentwebb.info/coaching for more information. Now, if you're not a member of our Facebook group, now's the time. It's a fantastic community. It's not just a community, actually. It's a family. Because we're programmed and we don't realize it, it is destroying the way that we live. It's destroying our lives. It's destroying our interaction and our connection with each other. And most of all, it's destroying our connection with ourselves. In the Students of Self-Empowerment, we teach you how to take control of your own life, how to let go of the shit that is holding you back by setting goals and making positive choices. There is a level of human condition that most people do not even know exists. And when you tap into that, it changes everything. We spend hours each and every day making sure that we are creating content for you to help you along your journey. Anything we can do to help your awakening not only helps you, it helps us and it helps everyone else. Because as you awaken, you pull other people into it and they awaken as well. And together we get rid of the shit that is bringing this world down. So join us. It's facebook.com/groups/students of self-empowerment. Students of self-empowerment. And finally, we have a YouTube channel, and not everything in our Facebook community is linked there. We have over 200 videos. No matter where you are on your journey of awakening, there is something for you. What are you going through? We have guided meditations. We have question and answer videos. Catherine and I have worked tirelessly to set you up. All this information is available and it's all free. Go to our YouTube channel. Don't go buy someone's video course. Go watch the videos. They're free. Lots of time and effort there. And we've done it for you. So take a look. It's youtube.com/Taylor Web Television. youtube.com/Taylor Web Television. I'm trying to figure out what I'm about to say in that picture because I look constipated or something. So if you have not subscribed, please do that. Send links to your friends, get them on there as well. This is how we change the world. And look, if you want to help us out, again, we spend time, hours each and every day for you. If you want to help us out, do it by sharing, liking, subscribing, getting your friends and your family involved. This helps them tremendously. We're all about breaking out of our conditioning and living the lives that we're meant to live. So it's a win-win situation. If you want to help us, that's how you do it, by getting our engagement up. So like, share, bling, tweet, whatever it is, do it now, all right? Taylor Web Television on YouTube. I'll be back again on Monday, and I'll have the next video. We also have a guided meditation for you next week. Catherine and I have a big announcement for, we're now enrolling into our new Life Mastery course. But we're actually rebranding the name. We have something special in the works for you guys, so that's coming soon. I'm going to leave you today, like I do when I close all of these, with a little bit of advice. When I was a kid, I loved Larry Hagman from Dallas. I mean, I was a little 5-year-old kid obsessed with JR, and I always close with some advice from him, and it goes just like this. Don't worry, be happy, feel good every day, and I'll see you Monday. Have a good one. Bye.